interesting couple notes out of the first couple days of spring training baseball.
Jays as of Saturday, we're going to go undefeated and probably win a World Series.
That's what they do, man. Yeah, of course. But all the new rules got dropped in, right? And you saw some interesting things. They were saying that with the pitch clock, after the first day, you were seeing game times. Now it's spring training, so you take it all with a grain of salt, but 229, 233, 231. Everybody's pretty happy about that. Because oftentimes with so many substitutions in spring training, those games can run a little
4
long.
hours.
Yeah, it can be. You also saw in the first 18 games, first 19 games, there were 38 infractions of the pitch clock.
Yep.
A slight majority to the pitcher, obviously, but there were batters getting caught, like not ready after, you got to be in there and looking at the pitcher with 8 seconds to go on the pitch clock. So that's an average of 1.79 per game, which is interesting because I was reading a couple different places that's almost exactly where it started in the minor leagues last year. They were at 1.73 infractions per game. And over the next 4 to 6 weeks, it got down in the minors to 0.4 per game. So essentially 1 every 2 games, right? Guys figure this out and they get it under control quickly in terms of what that means and being able to not throw over or not having the pitch delivered in time. So that was interesting to see. And there was a fascinating incident in Boston versus Atlanta. I don't know if you caught SportsCenter this morning, anything like that. Okay. So I'm going to play the audio just because I think it's worth hearing, and then we'll dive into everything that went down here.
Could have rung them up easily. Uh-oh.
And now what?
He's out.
They have called strike 3! Wow! This is mayhem! Oh! Automatic strike 3 called with the bases loaded in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th. This is baseball in 2023. Joe Castig said, "Can you believe it?"
Here it is.
He didn't have this in mind.
You see it?
It's at 8 seconds. He has to be alert to the pitcher.
Yeah.
2 feet in the box, head looking at the pitcher.
So stick with me here. There's a lot to unpack because I want to now talk through this, and then we'll play the audio again. This is Boston pitching to Atlanta in the bottom of the 9th in a tie game. Bases loaded, full count. So the pitcher has the ball. There's, as I said, bases are loaded, so he has 20 seconds on the pitch clock. The back catcher stands up, and he's pointing to first base, telling the rest of the defense the play is to first, right? If it gets hit to you, the play is to first. Okay. As that's happening, the batter's sort of confused because the 20 seconds has started while the back catcher is up doing this. And he's like, well, there's no chance the pitcher is going to throw it while the catcher is still standing delivering signs. So he's not in the box. We get to 8 seconds. He's supposed to be in there looking at the pitcher. The pitcher is now looking, going, okay, he's not in there, and my catcher is not in position, so I'm not going to throw the ball. The pitch clock runs down, and everybody's like, well, now what? Because he wasn't in the box, and the guy didn't throw it, and what do we do? So the batter starts trotting to first, thinking, that's got to be a ball. He didn't throw it, and the catcher was standing up. That can't possibly be my fault, right? Yeah, it turns out it is.
The 8 seconds elapsed before the 20 seconds elapsed?
Well, they work together, right? The 20 seconds starts counting down,
right.
And when it gets to 8, he's not in there.
That's what I'm saying. So
right.
that's happened first.
That's happened first. But because the catcher hasn't got down into his squat, the batter's like, well, it's their fault, right? He's not going to throw the pitch.
I got 12 more seconds.
Right. Nope. So this is fascinating, man. And the as he's trotting down to first, the umps sort of, you can see him working through it in his head. And he's like, no, it's fucking you. You are out. The game's over. Obviously, they end games tied in spring training. And this was, you can kind of hear the crowd in the background roaring. And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
what?
It's clearly
what just happened? Everybody's confused.
Yeah, we've walked in the run. Oh, no, we haven't.
So we knew there was going to be chaos, right? We knew there was going to be times where this would have to be ironed out, but this is like one of the very first games played on day one of spring training. It has cost, and again, it's a spring training win, but it's cost a team a win. And even the pitcher said in the post-game interviews, I assumed it was us, right? I assumed I just walked in the winning run, because if you don't deliver it within that 20 seconds, it's counted as a ball. The base is loaded, full count. Man, this is going to be a thing for a while. But to see it in the bottom of the ninth on day one was...
Yeah. And again, day one of spring training.
This is when you want to see these things happen.
100%. Now, short of those fat, untanned people who are watching from the stands, right? They're like...
I'd like to be one of those.
Well, you're 50%.
Actually, I'm more like 66% of it. The only thing missing is I'm not in the stand.
That's harsh, eh?
A little.
I want to take it back.
But I'm not gonna. I want to take it back, but
well,
I'm sitting here across the table from you.
It's like that little kid going, oh, I know I shouldn't say that. Don't say. My mom says if you can't say nothing nice, don't go on a podcast.
I'd never get to say anything. So it's just odd, though, to see like everybody was confused. And again, because it's spring training, nobody's super pissed, but there is a lot of, what did we just see? And so
yeah, well, you're super pissed if you're that guy who goes, I make it down to a couple of exhibition games.
Yes, okay. Fair enough.
I'm a big Sox. Who lost that game? The Braves, the Sox.
It ends up as a tie, right? Because
so who lost the chance to win it with the walk-in?
Atlanta could have won it.
Right. So as a Braves fan, so clearly that's in wherever the home of the Braves are in
Fuck, I don't remember.
Yeah. Fort Myers seems to be where everybody is. But yeah, you're like, this is my one chance. I'm down here. I got the zinc on my nose. I'm doing my thing. And the Braves didn't win.
Right. And so it turns out, and Jason Stark had a great write-up in The Athletic about basically the chaos of this and who was right and who was wrong and what exactly happened. So the catcher has thrown it back to the pitcher. Once the pitcher has it, he has 20 seconds. There is no rule that says the catcher has to get down right away. Right. He can still continue to direct the defense and deliver signs to other outfielders and stuff.
12 more seconds as the catcher to get down and be in my crouch.
Right. And so, yeah, that area in between the first 20 down to the 8 when the batter has to be in there is sort of gray, and people hadn't really worked out. And this is why you do it, right? You work through the kinks and you figure all this out. And so the batter's problem was that he was assuming there's no chance they can throw this pitch with the catcher still up doing his thing, which historically has been true, right? If that guy's still waving around, I don't have to be in there.
I got 1 foot in, I'm leaning back.
But no matter what the defense is doing, as long as the catcher is still in the box, he does not, frankly, ever have to squat if he doesn't want to, right? Yeah. He's just got to be out of your way, and it does not matter anything else. When that clock hits 8 seconds, the batter has to be in with his eyes on the pitcher. And so, yeah, this all ends up getting a little. So I want to play the audio back now.
Just a second, though.
Yeah.
Before you do, because to me, it comes down to, as the Braves and the Red Sox, you have your AAA, you have your AA, you have your single A, you have your development.
And this is the bottom of the ninth in a spring training game, so it's actually probably all minor leagues guys in anyway.
And I'm saying you have 4 or 5 levels below the majors of employees and with intel on all this stuff. But that being said, as somebody who's coached a bunch of things, no matter how much we've talked about preparing for certain situations, there's always shit that arises where you go, oh, I never thought that.
Well, and they interviewed in this Stark piece that I'll share the link for members of both teams on both teams there were people who thought we just won and no, that was our fault, we're out.
Yeah.
Like just interpretations of
pointing. You fucked up.
Right. And so this guy, he's standing there, he's not really ready, and it's on him to be in the box first. Yeah. And so on day one to see something like this. So I want to play it again just because I think it's interesting. You can hear in the crowd, you can hear the commentators all going, oh, and trying to figure this all out in real time.
Could have rung them up easily. Uh-oh.
And now what?
He's out.
They have called strike 3. Wow! This is mayhem! Oh! Automatic strike 3 called with the bases loaded in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th. This is baseball in 2023. Joe Castig said, "Can you believe it?"
Here it is.
He
Here it
didn't
is
have
here.
this in mind.
You see it?
It's at 8 seconds. He has to be alert to the pitcher.
Yeah. And
2 feet in the box, head looking at the pitcher.
It's funny, man. Like I don't think people are ready for how much this is going to change. Now, like I said, this gets down quickly, at least in the minor leagues, to it happens once every 2 games, something not like this in the bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, but right off the bat to see how big this could be is really interesting.
Well, and the batter he's got that feeling like where the shock is like you've been electrocuted or whatever, and you're like you think this has happened, and then you're like, what?
Right.
It's me?
I'm the problem. It's me.
Some of us have said that many times. Are you kidding me? But
Shout out, Tay-Tay.
he was like, no.
Yeah. And you can just kind of hear in that moment the clock hit 0 and the crowd for a second went completely quiet, and then the ump calls him out. And they start roaring again. Like, what the fuck just happened? This is going to be fun, man. And so, like I said, right off the hop, we're seeing it about as much as we did in the minors right away, but the game times have already come way down. This is going to be the most interesting part of watching spring training this year is just watching the way these rule changes play out.
The whole thing unfolds.
Yeah.